Well, they made a fatal mistake. You see, their narrative doesn't have truth on its side, and it may have worked if back in the Dewey Decimal System days when you had to go to the library to look up whether what your teacher was saying is true or not. But they did it in the information age. They did it when we could just Google it, and we hear white men are evil, Western society sucks, America's a racist hellhole, and they just go to YouTube, they go to Google, they look it up, and they go, wait a minute, everything my teacher's saying is a lie. And when reality isn't on your side, when your narrative is the opposite of the truth, you should shy away from any information. Like we're noticing this with cops and body cams. They said, we need cops to be responsible. We want body cams. The cops said, sure. And now we're seeing these kids are pointing guns at them before they get shot. Oops. Well, here's what you talked about, a bunch of different things. And I think they all do convalesce. Is that the word?
That's right.
Where we have the mainstream media is done, right? Fox News, ABC, they're all watched by 70-year-olds who aren't invested in society. You also have our side just ended up being the cool, fun side. Like when I did my talk at NYU last week and got pepper sprayed, I'm looking at the guys we're with, and they're a hell of a lot more diverse, especially when you include class, than these Antifa kids. The Antifa kids are all living with their parents. 92% live with their parents. They're all sons of professors. They're all rich, white squares. And the second we started punching back, they started screaming for police. And I gotta say, I've been in a few fights, but there's nothing funner than fighting these so-called anti-fascists.
Well, I watched the...
Well, the NYU wouldn't let my guys in. They locked the doors. So my guys were stuck with the mob, and they went, okay, and just started boom, 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 plowing through them. Two of our guys went to jail for defending themselves. They'll get out soon enough. I mean, they did get out, but the court date won't matter. I think it'll just be a violation. But it was really fun. One of my guys said he started to feel bad because they were clearly never been in a fight before, and he was just pounding them in the face, feeling guilty. You know, like in World War II with the Russians, they just used so much human fodder that I think the Germans started to feel bad about killing all these Russians. That's what it was like fighting these guys. It was just, oh, my fists are starting to hurt. Well, it's also the lack of courage. They don't have the courage of their convictions, so they can't have courage in a street fight. I mean, there's two types of fights, right? There's the fight in the pub when someone spills your pint and your heart's not really in it. Someone slaps your mother, you want to eat their face.
Exactly. There's kind of...
Yes, like deplorable. They go there and these anarchists show up and they walk in front of me. I've got all these women behind me. We're in a sort of a Spartan phalanx fighting them. And the fact that this kid, this little fake anarchist, was trying to stop me from going to a ball and attacking the women behind me and threatening their children, that was just, I had the agency now. I had the background, the rage, and it was just so easy to plow him. Meanwhile, they're just dressing up. Yeah, that's the fight. They're just dressing up for Halloween. That's why they don't want to debate. They don't really believe any of this stuff. And that's why their hearts aren't in the fight.
Yeah,
well, what's really been going on for the past quarter century is conservatives have been wimps. I remember when Rush Limbaugh called Sandra Fluck a slut. I heard all these Republicans and conservatives going, oh, no, I'm not backing that. He took the low road.
She is a slut. She wants us to pay for her lube and condoms. Pay for them yourself.
Exactly. It's a dictionary definition of a slut. And I said, no, we're not doing any of this high road crap anymore. When someone punches us, we punch back twice as hard. We're the new Malcolm X's. We're the new by any means necessary. And they don't have the gumption to take us on. And it feels so liberating to finally say, no, we're not going to be polite anymore. We're not going to be nice because you're a liar and you're trying to restrict my freedoms. I mean, if I heard you out of context and I was away on vacation, I would say, well, that can't be right. But everything you just said is literally true. She got out there and she said, Assalamu alaikum. This is Linda Sarsour. She's pro-Sharia law. In Sharia courts, a woman's vote is worth half a man's vote. In Sharia law, you can beat your wife. In Sharia law, there's no such thing as marriage rape. You can't rape during a marriage. It just doesn't exist. And she's pushing for this. It was a pro-choice march. Muslims are pro-life. And then they have that woman, Donna Hilton, comes out. She murdered a man by sodomizing him to death. And she's sitting up there on a podium talking about LGBT violence and how we have to come together and stop Trump. And I'm thinking, how about we have to come together and stop sodomizing men to death, you lunatics?
That's right. Kidnapped him, sodomized him to death. And then meanwhile, they're calling how we hate gay people when they're the ones with the Muslims that kill gays.
I mean, I get accused. I said, look, trannies are not women. They're just mentally ill gays. That became, you are advocating violence against trans people. What? I don't care enough about trans people to advocate violence. And I go, if you're looking for someone who advocates violence against gays and trans, go check out Islam. Go see how well they do in Turkey, where they just burnt a man alive, burnt him to death and dismembered him because he was dressed as a woman.
I can show you.
And why? And then you go, well, wait a minute. Why are you choosing them as bedfellows when they personify everything you hate? And that's when you realize, oh, you're not in it for justice. You're not in it for equality. You're in it for sabotage. And these Muslims, these radical extremists, seem to be the best at sabotage.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, you know, when I saw Milo in that giant tub of pig's blood wearing a MAGA hat, and he had pictures of all the different victims of illegal aliens on his wall, murder victims. And I just thought, man, the liberals and the left and Antifa and the communists, they must be so bummed. They must be so bummed to discover that they're the church ladies. They're the ones saying, isn't that special? And they're the ones that are all white and all rich and telling everyone they can't have sex and they can't say this and they can't say that. They've become the uptight squares that they thought they were fighting against. And we're the ones having a ball, fighting, having art shows, going to meetings where we get wasted and walk around with Mad Dog Mattis signs, having a vigil in Times Square for all the people we lost who died of winning. It's just been party after party after party since November 10th, and they've just been losing after losing after losing. It is bizarre, but the thing I'm learning about Trump is he's always 4 chess moves ahead. Like when he said with the birth certificate, he said, I'll offer money for anyone who can show me a fake birth certificate. Boom, that was the end of that thing. Or when he said, the press isn't reporting on all this Muslim terror. So then the press goes out there and starts listing, no, we did report on this. We did report on this bombing. We did report on this acid attack. Next thing you know, all the press is doing is talking about Muslim terror. And that ends up justifying his travel ban. So every time you think he's made a move that seems like a blunder, you wait a couple weeks, as Steve Bannon told the press to do, just shut up and listen, and you see, Jesus, that was brilliant. You were 4 steps ahead of everyone. So this, what seems like a loss right now, I think if we just give it some time, we'll see he's going to turn it into yet another win. Well, we knew draining the swamp wasn't going to be easy. We knew it wouldn't happen overnight. And there's obviously going to be people that are furious. I mean, remember when Maggie Thatcher came in and she just started chopping federal government jobs? She started chopping bureaucrats' jobs. And everyone hated her because unemployment was going up. But unemployment was going up because she was getting rid of losers and privatizing all of Britain, creating a middle class for the first time in British history. So, yeah, it's going to be a rocky beginning. But God, there's still so much winning. And isn't it fun? I mean, I was pretty young when Reagan was president, but I don't remember a presidency ever being so fun. They have to comply to the free market. I mean, we saw American Sniper. Didn't it gross more money than all the other contestants for Academy Awards that year combined? So the free market wants guns. It wants Americana. It wants national pride. Look, these people are court jesters. They're here to dance around for us and make us giggle. So if the king, which is the free market, tells you to stop dancing that way and go dance over there, they will comply. I mean, look at Amy Schumer bitching about guns. And then in her movie right now, she's got her gun out, shooting it everywhere. Matt Damon is the same way. Guns are evil, and he's got a gun. Jim Carrey pretending he hates guns, and he's shooting guns in Kick-Ass 2 or 3 or whatever it is. They have to comply to the market because they have to pay for their divorce. They have to pay for their mortgage. And they're just posturing. This is the beauty of their side right now. It's all posturing. So it's like going to a Halloween party and going up to someone dressed as a pirate and saying, you want a sword fight? And you bring out a real sword and they go, no, this is just plastic. Here, I'll take it all off right now. It's getting rid of it. Well, the left clearly is the ones that are stopping us. And I think we also are our own worst enemy because of this ethnomasochism. White people, Americans, Westerners, we're the only culture that hates ourselves. You know, you don't have Japan kvetching about the horrible things they did to the Ainu when they were creating Japan. We don't hear Mexicans bitching about the horrible things they do to Guatemalan immigrants and immigrants from Panama. But for some reason, we just seem to thrive on self-hatred. And that's the million-dollar question, the chicken or the egg. Did Christianity thrive because there's something genetically about us where we like self-flagellation? We like crucifying ourselves? Or did it come from Christianity? I don't know. All I know is that its time has come, because I never thought of myself as a white guy or a particularly Western male before I was told that I ruined the world. And then I went over to my computer and I looked up and I go, oh, huh. It says here that we didn't start slavery, we ended it. And then I start to realize cement, electricity, infrastructure, roads, water, we're kind of great guys. You're wrong. And the irony too is we're the best for all these other people that are telling us we suck. Yeah, look at this show, Dear White People, that Netflix is putting out. It was written by white people, and it's got this incredibly patronizing tone. Like, imagine your babysitter was talking to you like she's God, and you just go, what the hell, are you drunk? The way she talks, she says, here's the costumes you can wear.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know. I mean, my theory is that a lot of these TV execs are divorced women with an axe to grind. They're divorced liberal Democrats, and they don't like men. They hate white men because it reminds them of their ex-husband, and they're just out for revenge. It's not, the free market doesn't want that show. I mean, look at the number of dislikes that trailer has on YouTube. It's something like 30,000 to 2,000 likes. It's probably the most rejected video in the history of YouTube trailers, and it's because it doesn't make sense. I mean, you're going to come to a party because you found the costumes offensive, and you're going to destroy all our PA system. What's that? $1,500 you just destroyed because you've decided. It's probably happened 6 times in the past 10 years. But every time you see it, it gets blown up. It's all over the news. And the next thing you know, they're pretending that it's a trend. Oh, how do we? And here's the other crazy thing no one would ever bring up. Blackface isn't offensive. It's just a given that it's offensive because it's related to Jim Crow. But if you go back and you look the way they did it in the 1800s, 20% of the time they were insulting, but the other 80%, it was somewhat reverent. It was just like a man dressing up as a woman in a play. And then in Europe, we've got Black Pete, and we've had the black and white minstrel show in Britain right up until the 80s. These people, all they know is the taboos. And
taking offense, and it's worse than you say. 275,000 plus dislikes.
Yeah, I was 10 times off. I was saying it was a tenth of that. But here's the deal. If you're offended, it's beholden upon you to justify why you're offended and explain it to the rest of us.
By the way, you weren't wrong, though. You looked at it a few days ago. Now it's 10 times that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it'll be 10 times that soon, too. I don't see this show airing. I mean, the vitriol behind it, because I think Americans are sick of this.
That's my next question. When do they figure out everything they're doing is making it worse for them?
That's a good question, because they just got Trump reelected. All these Antifa dudes in Berkeley, and the guys pepper spraying me, and the guys going up and grabbing MAGA hats and punching Nazis in the face, as they put it, just gets him reelected, because we realize these spoiled brats are out of control. Rolling a garbage into the street because you hate capitalism says to the rest of America, re-elect Trump. And I mean, I'll eat my hat. I'll eat my MAGA hat if he doesn't win in 2020.
Sure. Well, unless they kill him. But you know, I'm seeing mega massive amounts of, quote, minorities blowing up and saying, we're sick of all this race crap. We just want prosperity. Stop it.
I mean, what was Obama? It was 8 years of, okay, I'm going to give you a chance. Here's your side of the argument. Go nuts. And then we look after 8 years, the economies that had a brutal recovery, worst recovery ever. We see way more racism. I mean, talking about white supremacy and Nazis, it sounds like it's 1945 again. He sent us back half a century.
Well, he's on every day. It's, of course, the website compoundmedia.com. Gavin McInnes. I'm Alex Jones. Gavin, thanks for joining us. And my kids say hi. You know, the 12 and 14-year-olds love you, but adults love you too. I just love the work you're doing. God bless you. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Big guest coming up. Stay with us.